Hello everyone and welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Flash News. I'm your mentor Shrikant Tripathi, and students, today we are going to discuss about the 25th SR talks that have recently been concluded between India and China. Okay. Now here we would be actually seeing that what exactly before Mr. Xi Jinping visits India, okay, for the BRICS summit, how exactly these SR talks have impacted, or you can say have affected, the India-China relationship, okay. Now, why in news? Obviously, both New Delhi and Beijing have agreed on a fresh set of measures to strengthen communication along the line of actual control while keeping negotiations on the boundary question moving. Okay. Now, these decisions were reached at the 25th round. Okay. The 25th round of talks that happened between India and China's special representatives. Okay. These talks, they were held where? In Beijing. Now, from India's side, it was the National Security Advisor Shri Ajit Doval, okay, whereas from China's side it was the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi. Now there were various things that were discussed, okay, in these particular talks. Some of the great important decisions were also taken. Now we would be talking about each and every aspect, what exactly was the outcome. But before that, let's come and understand what exactly is the history of these SR talks. Now, these SR talks, they started in the year 2003, okay, under the leadership of Indian Prime Minister Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Okay. Now, the first round of the talks, it happened in the year 2003, where? In New Delhi. And at that particular point of time, then's National Security Advisor Shri Brajesh Mishra attended the meeting from India's side, whereas from China, it was Dai Bingguo. You know, with reference to these talks, the idea was very simple. We wanted a solution because, you know, you cannot ignore, like we are in no position that we can ignore the importance of China. One of the most important neighbors that we have also is a nuclear power. Along with that is a member of United Nations Security Council. Again, with respect to economy, China today is known as the manufacturing hub of the world. Now, a country with such great importance, you simply cannot ignore its presence. So back then, Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee decided that, okay, whatever is the issue that has been going on between both the countries, he and the future leaders, the future prime ministers of India would certainly come and try to resolve it. And in that particular direction, this initiative of the special representatives talks was taken. You know, the most important idea about this is in the year 2005, there was a big breakthrough. One of the most important breakthrough happened in the year 2005, where various ideas were discussed, okay, primarily with reference to mutual agreements, mutual cooperation, right? So these 2005 SR talks, they came up with something great, okay. That's why we also refer it as the 2005 milestone. It was the second phase of the SR process, and primarily it was decided that we have to focus on the problems, like we got to address the problems. What exactly could be a probable or a possible solution to the problems that both the countries are facing, and as a result a landmark agreement was signed. Now what exactly that agreement was called? That agreement was called Political Parameters and Guiding Principles for the Settlement of India-China Boundary Question. Okay. Now when I'm talking about this particular political parameter and guiding principles, that there were a few ideas. Now what exactly were the principles that were discussed? A few questions were raised, and simultaneously answer to these problems or answer to these questions was also provided. Now we would try to see and understand what exactly was proposed in these 2005 principles, right? So the 2005 principles. Very important for us to understand. Number one, it was decided that there has to be a package settlement. Okay. Now, when I'm talking about the package settlement, it was made very clear from both the sides that if we want to resolve a particular issue, or if we want to resolve a particular problem, we should go for a fair, reasonable and a mutually acceptable package settlement, and that would cover all the sectors of the boundary. We won't be talking that, okay, let's take this particular sector or let's take this particular sector. No, we would be trying to achieve a solution for, or a package for all the entire boundary, all the sectors that are present along the boundary. So this was the first thing which said that we are looking for a package settlement where we would be covering all the sectors of the boundary rather than following a sector by sector approach. Okay. Second focus was improving bilateral relations. Bilateral relations. Now again, see, nothing is possible if there is a difference between both the countries, okay, especially with reference to the boundary matters. Now it was decided that, okay, whatever issues, whatever challenges we are facing on the boundary side, okay, keep them apart, but these boundary tensions should not affect the overall development of the broader bilateral relations. Slowly, we would certainly address the boundary issue as well, and we would achieve on a proper conclusion. But by then, we should not in any chance, in any case, let these issues affect the bilateral relations. Now, bilateral relations, it could be with reference to cultural exchange, it could be business exchange, it could be sports, it could be anything. Let's not get the remaining issues affected because of one problem or one situation which we are facing. Now, the third one was, we have to address the reality. We have to address the sensitivity that is associated. Okay. So, address the realities, address the sensitivities. Now, when I am saying address the realities, address the sensitivities, we are very clear that whatever solutions we are coming up with, they must account for historical evidences, okay, national settlements, and most important, whatever is practical. Just try to come up with a practical solution. Don't make vague claims, or don't just come up with vague solutions that cannot be executed in practicality. So the most important approach was, we have to address the reality. Apart from that, there is one more concern that was addressed here. On either side, we have to protect the interest of the population. Okay, we have to address the population's interest. We should not let any damage being brought to the population on either side. Okay, correct? This was the thing. Now, apart from this, there was a three-step approach that was also discussed here. Now, when I'm talking about this three-step approach, that if you want, or if both the countries want to have peaceful resolution of the problem that's ongoing between them, or if both the countries want to have improved bilateral relations, now there has to be a proper approach. Now, what that could be? Number one, the first thing, involve the politician. That means envision political parameters first. Okay, bring the politicians on the table. let the politicians talk to and discuss that, okay, this is the problem. First of all, you address the problem, what exactly the problem is. Followed by that, once both the sides have agreed, then create a framework that would be necessary for boundary settlement. Framework for boundary settlement. And at last, once we have created a framework, the third thing would be the final delineation and demarcation using all the, be it military, be it the civil service or other officials that are required. Final demarcation by civil, military and survey officials. That's one of the best ways through which we can certainly achieve peace, and we can also resolve the dispute between both the countries. Now, this exactly was the 2005 landmark agreement that happened, okay, also known as the political parameters and guiding principles. Now, just rush back to 2020. Now, we all know 2020 Galwan clashes happened. Now, after the Galwan clashes happened, the talks were kept on hold for nearly 4 years. Now, it was in 2024 during the Kazan summit, okay, of BRICS, where both the leaders, Shri Narendra Modi and Mr. Xi Jinping, they agreed, came forward and they came up with a few solutions or a few suggestions. These were implemented, and once again the SR talks, they actually resumed. The 2024 breakthrough, historical bilateral meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Xi Jinping at the BRICS summit happened, okay, in Kazan, Russia. Now, the 2024 breakthrough broke a 4-year diplomatic freeze following the 2020 Galwan Valley clash. Now, there were a few outcomes that also came after this meeting happened between both the heads, okay. Now, major outcomes that were included: number one, complete border disengagement. Those 7 important points, okay, the complete border disengagement happened. The 7 spots, we will talk about those 7 spots. The 3 mutual strategic principles, okay, where we are talking about mutual respect, okay, with reference to mutual sensitivity, and there has to be a mutual trust that is required to be developed between both the countries. Then resumption of dialogue mechanism, that means we have to start the SR talks once again. And at last, the confidence building measures. Now, there are 3 ideas, or there were 3 measures that were mentioned in this confidence building measures, and China and India both have actually implemented this confidence building measure. In fact, we can say that these confidence building measures, what exactly were that? We'll talk about them one by one. Okay, now the roadmap for confidence building measures. The 2024 Kazan consensus set the foundation for subsequent operational implementation executed throughout 2025 and 2026. Now, when I'm talking about the confidence building measures, there were 3 measures that were actually suggested from India's side to China. Number 1, resuming the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra pilgrimage. Now, we all know this pilgrimage is very important, okay, and is considered very sacred by the pilgrims here in India. So, after the Galwan clash took place, the yatra was suspended. 30th June 2026, the yatra once again started, okay. Number 2, reopening the 3 designated border trading passes. Now, when I'm talking about the 3 designated border trading passes, the number 1 was Nathula, where in Sikkim. Number 2 was the Lipulekhla in Uttarakhand, and number 3 was Shipkila in Himachal Pradesh. Now, Shipkila, Lipulekhla, and Nathula. These three designated passes, they have been opened since 1st August 2026. And the third one, restoring the direct commercial flights between India and China. Okay, this already got started late 2025. So we have seen a great improvement in this regard as well. Now, what exactly happened in the 25th SR meeting that recently concluded? Now, we all know a 8-point solution or 8-point outcome was released. Okay, 8-point outcome was released by the Foreign Ministry. Apart from that, there were a few more practical measures that were taken. One was with the reference to creation of 2 hotlines, okay, and there was one more thing. So let's talk about them, what exactly happened. Now, amongst the most significant decision was an agreement to establish 2 additional meeting points for general level mechanism or senior highest military commander meetings. So 2 additional meeting points were decided. These are to be taken, okay, the details would be provided to us later. The 2 sides also agreed to add 2 new channels for border military hotlines in the eastern and the middle sector that would expand direct military communication between the 2 countries. That means, for example, with reference to India and Pakistan, we have the DGMOs, Directorate General of Military Operations. Similarly, we have created 2 more hotlines, especially with reference to China. Okay, so we have created these 2 more lines. Apart from that, the 8-point outcome that we have already seen. Now, what exactly these 8-point outcomes are? Okay, just one by one. The first one, we have to ensure the border stability. Both sides, they have affirmed that yes, we want to have a peaceful border situation. Number 2, boundary talks. Negotiations will certainly advance towards a mutually acceptable boundary line, right? Mechanism progress, experts and various other working groups would come together. Like I've already told you, the politicians would meet, a final framework would be completed, okay, and then execution, that is a proper demarcation would happen. So yes, for that, mechanism process must be followed by the experts and various working groups. Issue resolution, whatever existing diplomatic and military channels that we have created or we have to focus upon solving the problem. Rather than escalating it, the approach has to be on solving the problems. Improved communication, already seen, the creation of 2 hotlines. Then, the trans-border cooperation. Both nations agreed to increase the Kailash Mansarovar pilgrimage batches. Also, I have told you about the various trading passes, okay, the Lipulekhla, Shipkila and Nathula. River management, the expert level mechanism on trans-border river will meet in September to discuss hydrological data sharing and renewing the memorandum of understanding. Now, this one is quite important. Okay, with reference to river management, this is quite important. Meeting is also scheduled in the month of September to address this particular thing, to actually provide the detailed hydrological data. Okay, both the sides would be doing, or both the sides would be providing the deliverables here. Now, this is quite important. This is something to watch for. Okay, next month it would certainly happen and we would be talking about that as well. Also, it is decided that the future SR talk would happen in Delhi in 2027. Okay, so the 26th round of the special representative talks is scheduled to be held in India in 2027. Now, also, when I'm talking about this, I have said that, you know, there has to be confidence building measures. Now, there were 7 friction points between India and China where a final disengagement happened. Okay, starting in 2024, that disengagement happened. So there was a total of 7 such friction points You must have heard of number 1, the Galwan Valley, number 2, the Gogra, number 3 was the hot springs, number 4, the north bank of Pangongso Lake, number 5 was the south bank of Pangongso Lake, number 6 was the Depsang Plain, and number 7 was Demchok. You know, Depsang Plain and Demchok, these two, they were the final friction points where we have actually saw disengagement on both the sides, right? So this is quite important for us to see and understand. Okay, now finally, what's next for us? I have already told you the two countries are also set to resume technical discussion on the trans-border rivers. Okay, trans-border rivers, very important. The next meeting of the India-China expert level mechanism on trans-border rivers will be held in September with hydrological data sharing and renewal of the relevant memorandum of understandings. Okay, along with that, whatever issues both the sides are facing, especially with reference to the trans-boundary rivers, these matters, these problems would certainly be discussed there, right? Now, students, based on the topic that we have seen, I have provided 2 questions to you guys. The first one, with reference to India-China border mechanism, consider the following statements regarding the working mechanism for consultation and coordination on India-China border affairs, WMCC. You have the 3 statements here. You can just look and you can provide your answer in the comment section. The second question that we have here regarding the trans-border cooperation and resource management between India and China, which of the following outcomes was explicitly agreed upon? Now, there has to be some understanding. You people too have to read about the relations between India and China if you perfectly want to answer this particular question. Okay, now this was the today's session, students. I hope all of you have liked this particular session. We'll be meeting you in various other sessions, okay, frequently. Till then, study hard, study well. I'm your mentor Shrikant Tripathi, and this was Vajiram and Ravi's Flash News. Thank you very much.